Hi, welcome to the Emma and Daphne Show.
Yes, welcome. I am Emma Wales, artist and art educator.
And I am Daphne Cote, fine artist, professional artist, art instructor, and I guess tattoo artist now.
Woo-hoo.
Woo woo, little career shift. Yeah. Welcome to today's episode. This whole month we are doing landscapes is our theme. And tonight we, let me just bring up the reference image that we used.
Yeah, so this one I took a couple years ago now at, I believe it was Yoho in BC. We were on our way to do the Juan de Fuca trail.
Oh, right.
This was back, my stepson was only 6, he's turning 10 now.
Oh,
where did the time go?
Feels so old, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was beautiful. So our theme for today was water or reflection. And Daphne and I were playing around with some of her images, some of mine, and we even had some of our friends' images we were looking at. And this is the one we decided to go with.
Yes. And then for tonight's episode, we decided to use graphite, so pencils and drawing tools. And every week it's in our sketchbook. So earlier we did our little sketchbook sketch into our sketchbooks, but then we recorded it and then sped it up. So we are going to talk quickly over top of that. Should we get started?
Yes, I'm ready. Are you ready?
Hold on.
You count us in.
I'm almost ready. Okay. 1, 2, 3, go. So we count ourselves in so that she can see it and I can see it at the same time from 2 different locations, all bringing it together. I know. It's super cool. So we get to be together but be apart, which is what this whole pandemic thing
of technology.
Yes.
We actually drew this for a second time because earlier today someone maybe didn't hit record.
Yes. So we had the pleasure of doing the exact same thing twice today.
Did you do anything differently the second time around?
I didn't have to think so much about it because I felt like I was a bit on autopilot. So I did have to think about maybe slowing down, and there were some areas that I got to put a little bit more effort into, I think, because I felt like I had more time because I had already done it once before.
Yeah. It's like we started with the same thing, laying down the horizon line and mountains and then jumping into the sky a bit.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. And you're using your finger to smudge it in?
Yeah, so in the first one I had this idea that everything was going to be all hazy and dreamy and soft, except for the reflection, because our focus today was on reflection. So I wanted that to be the only place with like definitive pencil marks.
Yeah.
And then the second time around, I was much more loosey-goosey because my hips and my back were begging me. So I had this nagging pain, and I found I had the opposite. I was much more distracted this time than I was earlier.
And I think
I had to force myself to pay attention.
Yeah, and the first time around, I was crankier than I was the second time around. We swapped. Yes.
Let me just say you're welcome.
Thanks. Yeah. So I'm also using a blending stump. I think I saw you going in and using a blending stump as well for parts of it.
Yeah.
And I also want to point out that we hold our pencils a little bit differently. Like right now, Emma, you're holding it further back, and I often do that too. And then only once we get into some fine detail work do we hold it closer to the end. And I do sharpen my pencil with a utility knife so that the graphite is really long and that the wood is tapered down so I can use it on its side. And that's what you see me doing when I'm going into the mountains and doing large shading areas, is that I'm pushing the pencil closer to the paper so that I can get wider marks and a better coverage in order to do shading really quickly.
Yeah, I wish I would have done that for this one. It would have made a huge.
If we were in the same studio, I would have passed you my extra pencil. And been like, here, just use this.
Yeah, it's fine. I've got some stuff. I'm right now in my studio in the backyard, not in the house. And the materials I have out here are very different than the materials I have inside.
Yes, because lovely Emma, she has 2 studios.
Well, I don't think studio so much as I've just taken over the space and it's all of my stuff, which just so happens to be art supplies and plants.
Yes.
Like, what else do I even own? I don't think anything.
No, that's it. That's what she lives with all the time. It's just art supplies and plants. And then a few people here and there can come into the space.
So, just speaking of the way we're holding our pencils, one of the things I wanted to touch on, and I'm sure you have lots to share too, is how you can kind of deal with it when your body is bugging you. Not necessarily your body, like sometimes it can be mood, like crankiness or whatever. I find whatever you're carrying, whether physical or emotional, really shows up in your artwork.
Yes.
And especially for this one, like if you notice really big changes in the way I'm holding my pencil, sometimes I'm standing, sometimes I'm sitting, sometimes I'm squatting. I'm just moving around a lot.
Yeah, for me, using your pencil by holding it like this, so just like it forces you to use your whole arm to draw so that it doesn't do so much damage on your wrist and on your fingers. And I know that for the longest time, I also had to really pay attention to how tightly I was holding my pencils, because my bone is actually like deformed and my fingernail grows out crooked out of my middle finger from
Problems.
from just because I've been drawing since as long as I can remember, and so it became a huge problem with my hand and everything. So I just had to lighten up a little bit. And then it's really interesting because when you start to do that and manipulate how you hold your pencil, then you also start to inadvertently learn new techniques of mark making.
Yeah.
So that was really fun.
What do you do to kind of practice giving up control?
Doing what you said, like sometimes changing your position. Like for me, these are sometimes difficult because I have a camera like right where I would be sitting. So I'm sitting kind of off to the side of my drawing. So it changes the way that I would probably hold my pencil. I also draw and paint with the sketchbook upright. So you have yours laying flat and I tend to have mine upright. And even if I'm doing it on a flat surface, I still prop it up. One of my tricks is that usually I have a roll of tape laying around, like masking tape or something, and I'll just stick that underneath the sketchbook, and it's like the right level of tilt for me. So I like doing that. And there's also, like, we were talking about how we had to redo this, and there's this exercise that you can do where you draw the exact same thing every day, but for a timed limit. So let's say you want to be able to draw trees really, really well, or like flowers are even better. So like if I wanted to learn how to draw a rose really, really well. So I'll take an image of a rose and I'll start to draw it, but I'll only do it for 10 minutes. And every day I sit down and draw the same rose on a new piece of paper for 10 minutes. And each time you do it, you will get you'll start to see the progression, that you'll get faster, you'll do it better, you'll do it more efficiently. And so you learn so much through that process. Plus, it gives you that little boost in endorphins because you can see the progression really clearly. Like,
I'm pretty sure Rubens, where like all of his paintings weren't actually done by him. Everyone specialized in one thing. So you have one person who specialized in like skin, one person who specialized in fabric or trees or leaves, and there were these like huge workshops behind each painting.
Yes, yeah. Leonardo da Vinci was like at first doing animals and fabrics, I think.
So cool.
Yeah, for a different painter, and then you move your way up. And even at the National Portrait Gallery in Washington, D.C., they have a bunch of like presidential portraits, and they have ones where they show how the assistants or the like apprentices were all painting, and then they just leave the face or the head, and then you'll see another painting where it was just the actual painter who was supposed to do the painting, who was recognized for doing the painting, was doing like a practice of the head. So then you have like a painting of like the body, and then the painting of just a head, and then you have another painting of it all put together, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I love seeing stuff in pieces. Yeah. I just want to draw attention back to the video because that eraser.
My favorite little zippy tool. Yeah, so it's an electric eraser. That one's made by Derwent. They're really cheap, but they're so much fun. And they just like, they do a good job. So, yes. And I really enjoyed doing the reflections, and you just have to pay attention to the tonal values, like where are the lights and where are the darks. So you have to pay attention to your eyes and listen to what your eyes are telling you, not what your brain is telling you, because you'll try to just like mimic what was like whatever the trees are doing on top. You'll try to make it look proper on the bottom, but then you will totally mess up the whole entire fact that it's water, right? That there's all these little blips and dips and stuff like that. So that's why I like skimming along with that electric eraser. It really worked well for that.
I wish I had one. I was using, instead of like my cut wedges are in the house. Instead of using this, I was just using the back of the pencil.
Oh, okay,
and
yeah.
It wasn't precise enough for what I needed to do.
No. Yeah, and like I know that you smudge with your fingers and stuff like that, and I really forced myself out of that habit quite a while ago, because I found that if you smudge with your fingers, the oil from your skin makes the graphite really stick to the paper, and then it's harder to erase or change. So that's why I always use a blending stump, and also why I try never to put my hand, if I can help it, this part of my hand on the actual page. I try to keep it lifted all the time.
Yeah. I didn't want to use the blending stump in this one because I want, well, in the background. I did end up using it in the sky, but for the mountains especially, I wanted it to just be like big, smooth, flat application. And I find with the stump, you get, like, you see where, well, you can use the side of it a little more, but I just wanted it to be broader and sheer.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But yeah, no, you're right about the word. Like, there's no...
And like, if you really want it to stick because you know you're gonna do some sort of weird erasing thing or something, like, I'm sure you can use it to your benefit as well. But it's like something that it's good to know so that you can have that as a trick.
You lose a lot of control over it too.
Yeah.
I find it's just so much wider the surface. It's a little bit less precise, but.
Yeah, I like it. That's pretty cool.
I love how in your water reflection you can really see that, like, I'm making marks on my sketchbook, like you can see, but the almost like C shape of the water that was happening, I didn't work that far down in mine.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Like, you can see the...
Yeah. Yeah. I just get like fascinated by all that kind of stuff, so I just lose my lose myself in all the little details and stuff like that, just trying to learn how light and shadow work in nature. So whenever I come into a project like this, then I'm trying to work with that, with some sort of goal in mind, right? Something that I need to learn. The other thing is that so our image was wide, so I tried to like squish it a little bit. Did you notice? Because
Yeah.
mine's like really narrow and tall, so I still wanted it to work as a composition. So then that curve or that half C shape is really kind of forced to be a bit smaller. But I really liked it in the composition. So
Yeah, my plan, I like, now that you're mentioning that, I'm really noticing like yours really fills the top to the bottom. For mine, I was just planning on, like last week, I kind of constructed that little frame that I
oh
work with.
yes, yeah,
This week, my plan was just to kind of like, the top will slowly disappear and the bottom will slowly disappear.
yeah,
And it's like easy, soft,
yeah.
graphite drawing in the middle. So mine definitely kind of stops with like a fifth of the page at the top and then again a fifth at the bottom.
It's kind of like, oh, what is it? Turner, where it kind of
Oh,
like, yeah, dissipates in the top and the bottom. So it almost feels like there's no ending and no beginning to the top and the bottom. So that's really cool. So, yeah.
That was fun. I'm sorry that we had to do that twice.
I'm not. I got so much out of it. So,
Yeah, well,
you always need drawing practice.
There's been for me, it's not the drawing twice that I'm not super into, it's the technology-ing twice that I'm not
Yes.
super into. I feel like I'm doing that summer sketchbook challenge, which has been great to see all of the art that the kids have been doing at home.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely having a hard time. I'm just really missing the connection of running in-person stuff and doing it all virtual. And I
Yeah.
find it sitting a lot more. Like usually when I teach, I'm wandering around and like you
I
don't
know.
sit
I
still for 2
so miss
seconds.
that.
Yeah.
And this past week I started at a new tattoo shop, and oh, there goes our and it was a similar thing. Like, one, I miss being around people and all that kind of stuff, but at the same time, I'm not used to putting on proper pants or doing my hair every day, right? So there's this
Yeah.
like weird vibe thing happening where like I don't know, like everything is overwhelming in different ways. So like I miss teaching, and I can't wait to go back. I'm teaching August 16th for the first time in person, and yeah, it should be interesting. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna miss technology as much. Yeah, because it can be a little bit of a pain in the butt, but at the same time, I'm faster with it now. Like,
Yeah.
it's easier for me to figure out problems and issues, and so
Well, it was on your radar for a long time before COVID. Like I feel
yes.
like you were better prepared than most because you have been so intrigued by it for so long.
Yes, and it's shown me that I don't really like it. There was a reason why I was dragging my butt for so long.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah,
it
it's
is good because it does make things easier, like for meetings and for different things like that. But I do miss, like, no matter how hard we tried, I feel that doing stuff online couldn't replace being in person. Like,
Yeah,
it's just
there's just
something
something
about
about
that.
human connection and the
Yeah.
energy when you feed off of each other and
Yes, yeah. So it's a must. So, anyways,
any final thoughts? I think that about covers it.
yeah, I had a great time. Even when we had to do it twice, I actually liked it because I get to see you even more today.
Oh, stop. Yes, that was a silver lining. Thank you for
Yes.
reminding me. I got to see your beautiful smile.
Excellent.
Extended hours.
Yay!
Well, that's everything. If you enjoy our show and like what we do and would like to support us, please head over to our Patreon page. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes,
And
follow us
share
on
with your
social
friends.
media. Yeah, and you can find all of the links to those things in the description notes below. So,